One question that I keep getting asked is, how do I invest my money? Well, welcome to subramani.com. I'm going to talk about how I invest my money. I am largely an equities guy, and for people who do not know my background, I've been a chartered accountant and a member of the stock exchanges, right? So obviously that gives me some background. I've done equity research, I've been trained as a lawyer, and that all that gave me some background. And unfortunately or fortunately, I started investing at a time when there was no index. Forget whether they were mutual funds, right? But I came into mutual funds in 2001, 2002, or slightly before that, maybe 1997, 98. And I've done SIPs, I have done lump sum investments, I still have some SIPs going on, but I'm still largely a direct equity guy. And for me, I'm not sure whether it applies to all of you, knowing the fund manager is very useful while I invest. So which means I know only 5, 6 of them, and my money stays with them, and I can tolerate a decade of underperformance without impacting my goal, right? But in equities, I day trade, I do delivery based trading, I do value investing, I can do deep value investing, I can do growth investing, I do the whole works. I have equity bought before my birth, which I have carried, which is just one, but I have equity bought in the 1980s, which I still carry in my portfolio. And I know that it is the envy of any manager managing public money to have a portfolio which is not subject to public scrutiny. Having said that, my debt portion is largely restricted to PPF, ultra short bond fund, one in which I am stuck also, and that's it. I rarely look for creating an alpha on my debt. I don't really care. I'm happy letting my money sleep in some NTPC bonds or SBI bonds or even in a savings bank account. Doesn't really matter. I will not take too much of risk in debt, because I think for me debt is a temporary parking space. Having said that, I have changed my mind quite often in something like a PSU. 1984, 85, when I was doing articles, I did the audit of a few PSUs, and I was convinced that I will not touch a PSU ever in my life. Come to 99, come to 89, 90, and I met a brilliant fund manager. He used to manage his own money, and he convinced me with a lot of data why the PSU disinvestment was a great opportunity. Again, I invested in PSU, I made money, I exited, right? I do not even remember which shares I bought, but yeah, I exited. Then there was underperformance in one large cap equity fund where the CIO handling the fund said, yeah, I made a big mistake, I had too much money in PSU and therefore I lost. And I still stuck with that fund, and then that fund recovered, and after that subsequently the fund did badly, and then it did well, right? So with these fund managers, I've been very liberal. I've stayed on with most of them for, let's say, 30 years. Should it be? Yeah, it should be 30 years. Not really 30 years, 20 plus 2 3 years, so about 23 24 years. And to me it has not really mattered. One of them has given 18%, some has given 16%. Yes, it's an early mover advantage. That was a time when it was easy to beat the index. Currently they may or may not be performing well. People have called me out and said, you're playing favorites. I'm not playing favorites. I'm an equities guy. To me it doesn't matter what happens in my equity mutual fund portfolio. You may have a different view, that's fine. You may have to look at your performance on a 6 monthly basis or a 3-year basis. For me it is extremely broad. So just giving you one example, I remember Value Discovery in 2017. I spoke to one of the fund managers, and he said, oh, but the new fund manager is making some changes in the portfolio. And I said, okay, I will re-look at this in 2022. So if you are not going to look at a fund with a 5-year kind of horizon, this is not a right blog for you to look for which fund to buy, right? Because I do not look at it on a quarterly basis. I just look at broadly what the fund manager is doing. So I've been looking at what Anand Radhakrishnan has been doing, but now I realize I have to look at what Roshi Jain is doing, which is perfectly all right by me. And I know they are in Tata Motors. I also made the mistake of being in Tata Motors. I will live with that. I have also made the mistake of being in Bharti Airtel, and now it looks like the reward for being in Bharti Airtel, right? So some of these things which look ridiculous to the world have been there in my portfolio. PSUs have gone out of my portfolio. I do not take risk in the debt portion of my portfolio, and I do everything from day trading to deep value investing, but I have very rarely done leverage, which means I don't do F&O and I will not borrow to buy shares. It's not that I have not done, I have done it in the past, but doesn't suit my style. I will not go short to make money. Yes, I will exhaust whatever I have. If I have 20,000 shares of a company and I think company is not good, I will sell only 20,000. I will not go short trying to make money. Though many of my short calls have turned out to be right, I've never had the guts to go short. So this broadly explains what I do with my money. And one more thing is, there are three parts of one is what I do, second what I recommend, third what I write on in a newspaper, not just in my blog. Now suppose let's say gilt funds are doing well now, and a lot of mutual funds are getting a lot of money in gilt funds simply because people are seeing a 8% return, 12% return, 16% return, and then saying, okay, if not 16, I'll get at least 13 or I'll get at least 11. Right? This is the logic which people are using for gilt funds. Perfectly, be my guest. What I do with my money, I may enter gilt and I may exit gilt. So I may do market timing as far as gilt investments are concerned. I may recommend that to my friends or clients or whoever, where I'm 100% sure that when I see interest rates turning, I'll be able to call them, I'll remember, and I'll say, hello, I'd asked you to do this, now get out of that, right? So maybe in February 2021, you'll get the call saying, get out of it, because I'm getting out of it. And third is writing in a newspaper. Like if I write in a newspaper that gilt funds will give good return, and a guy buys that, buys into my argument and invests in gilt, and goes off abroad and is a Rip Van Winkle, and he comes back after 4 years, he may find a minus 5% sitting on his portfolio. What happened? Well, many investments are tactical and they have timing. But if you are not going to do all that, you are much better off in a fund with a 2-3 year duration, maybe a corporate bond fund with 2-3 years duration, where you know that the interest rate risk is not very high because, well, it's just 2 years duration. If you can't understand all this, please get an advisor and ask him or her how you should go about investing. It is risky. Do not risk your provident fund money and your retirement money. A lot of 55-year-olds, 56-year-olds might be looking forward to their retirement. Please do not risk that money by reading articles, including blogs, because we are more like a generic gyan may or may not be applicable to you. So I'm very scared of of our regulations, in the sense that I do not have a license to recommend any share to you or any mutual fund to you. So I'm not using this forum to do that. I'm only a trainer and a blogger, right? I occasionally review portfolios and say do this, do that, but no, I do not want to. I'm not like, I'm not a registered investment advisor to be able to tell you what to buy and what not to buy, right? And my own performance may be bad, pathetic, whatever, but it's not subject to public scrutiny. Thank you.